good. Facebook should be live, and Twitter as well. And I think if I set up everything correctly, which is not always the easiest, then we should actually be live on all the cake channels. I hope that works. So give me a second. I'm just going to open everything here. Cool, but I think it looks good. Great. So, Jürgen, Martin, Ewald, great. Thanks so much. So we should be live on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube, all on the cake channels. So it's good. And what I want to do today is I have some really exciting announcement. I hope you have seen this already because we sent it out by email and we have sent it out by blog post and everything. So this looks good. Amanita says hi. Pleasure. I want to show you how this new service that we launched today works. And I'm talking about Bitcoin Lapis, the most transparent way to get cash flow from Bitcoin. And I know this is a very bold statement, but it is 100% true. I promise you there's no other company out there that is as transparent and shows as clear how to get these returns and how does this work so that you as a user of this service actually know what you're getting into. And that's what I want to show you, and that's what we are kind of working around here today. So what I want to do is I want to do a bit of a screen share and kind of walk you through in all of this. So I hope you should be seeing our website. So normally the website is just pool.cakedefi.com. If you just type in Cake DeFi, you get to our corporate website. That's basically the overview. And then if you click here, then you get to our pool site. And if you have been paying attention, then you can see here, okay, staking. We have been offering staking for 9 months now. And here you can see Lapis services. And this is really, really cool. This is this new thing. This is basically offering cash flow on Bitcoin. So let's hope everything is loading. Yeah, great. And this is, and maybe first let me explain this a bit. I think getting cash flow on Bitcoin is not something that's revolutionary in the crypto ecosystem. There are other companies who are doing this as well. But what's completely revolutionary, and I'm going to show this to you, is, for example, here, at the moment, we are kind of looking into getting 6% per annum, so per year. We are completely transparent how to actually get those 6%. No other company, large or small, is actually showing this to you. Now, we just hope that they actually get those returns and they're not running a Ponzi scheme. I assume that most companies are actually not, especially the larger legit ones. But who knows? So what we really want to do is we want to show full transparency and we want to show you how this actually is working. And today I want to walk you through how to kind of use the service and how does this all work. So why Lapis? What is Lapis? Now, Lapis is this really special Singaporean layer cake. And yeah, we at Cake are a Singaporean company, so we want to show some flag. And yeah, so we want to have this layered cake as a product, as a service that you can kind of buy or use. And the reason for this is because you will see how transparent we're kind of layering all those different products on top of each other so that you can use this service in the easiest and best way possible. And so what I want to show you a bit is how does this work and how is this actually as a whole. Now, there's a couple of things. Now, I have a team account here. You can see this in just a second. There's a couple of things, a couple of requirements that you actually need to have in order for this to work. So the very first one is when you log in, you go to profile, and then you go to account verification, and you need to be account verified. So you need to be approved for the light tier and the full tier. And here's a key thing. Please activate your two-factor authentication. This is so important. We know of so many cases, not at Cake, but out there in many other platforms where people lose money because they don't activate their 2FA. So please do this. Now you can set up a couple of preferences and you can do this from the start. So on the first thing, you can kind of say if you want to auto compound your staking returns. Now, if you're not staking, then this doesn't really matter. If you're staking, you can either have this on or off. And if your Bitcoin Lapis should be auto compounding. Now you can set this. What do you want? Do you want to have this completely off? Do you want your entry to be auto compounding and then getting your returns out? or do you want to have the original amount plus the returns auto compound? So have like a real compound. You can kind of set this up here. And then this is the auto buy slices. This is for the staking. So as soon as you deposit, is this automatically buying kind of slices on the staking? So you can set this here. And this is basically where this all starts. And now you can go to Bitcoin Lapis and you see the kind of overview of all of this. Obviously a lot of people accessing the site right now. Not sure why this is a bit slow. For the details, you can click here and you should really read those. I want to be clear on this, and I'm going to give you a bit of a highlight on all this. Now here's a bit of the summary of the entire service. Now it's all about getting cash flow out of Bitcoin. Now we work in so-called batches, and we start a batch every week, but at the end, every batch runs for 4 weeks. So that means we're kind of starting 4 batches and cycling them so that every week we have a new batch. But each batch goes for around a month, so 4 weeks, and this is important. Now for every batch, we have a targeted or an expected annual percentage yield. It might differ. At the moment, we're targeting around 6%. This can be higher, this can be lower, but that's kind of the target. And now this is the cool thing. We're completely transparent on showing you the results, and I'm going to show you how this actually works. Now, a key thing in all of this, and I think this is kind of speaking for itself because every kind of service works this way. Now, this is not risk-free. There is the risk of you losing all your funds. I need to state this from a full transparency. Now, obviously, we're doing our best not to do so, and there's a lot of kind of scrutiny and a lot of things we actually have to be going through, especially in Singapore with these upcoming PSA regulations. So a lot of things we're actually trying to do to be extremely diligent, but for full transparency, I have to kind of mention this. There's a deadline for every batch, and that is on Monday, 6 a.m. Singapore time. So that's 10 p.m. UTC time on Sunday, so always Sunday evening cutoff time, Europe time. That's important. And then we kind of start the new batch, and it goes for 4 weeks. So you have to kind of understand that you're locking up your funds for 4 weeks. That's always important. The key thing, and I'm going to show this to you, is this transparency, and that's unprecedented. No other company really goes into this full transparency. How is the money used? How do you get these returns? How much? And you can track and trace all of that. And my expectation here is we're going to see a lot of competitors actually coming in and be all disturbed and be all kind of upset that we're doing this and we're showing all this, because it puts a lot of pressure on for them kind of opening up to show, hey, are you actually swimming naked or do you actually have substance? And that's going to be important. And that has to do with hash validation. And I'm going to show that to you how this actually works afterwards. Fees, I want to kind of explain those. How do we as a company actually make money? There's 2 fees. The very first one is 0.075% on the total amount, and that's a pure administrative fee. So that's a really tiny fee, and that's purely to cover transaction costs and to cover all the handling costs. Actually, you can do the math yourself. Cake is making not really a profit on that. That's purely for handling all these transactions. There are blockchain transactions, so this kind of is covered there. Where actually our profits are coming from is by generating profits for you. And this is at the end called this service fee here. And that's at the moment 11.2% on the kind of returns that we are giving to you. So obviously for us, it's also in our interest to be we're in the same boat. And that's really important to us. And then if you want, you can kind of look at these examples here. You can kind of go those through and you can see, okay, there's one with high returns. There's one that's just on point. Then there's one that's still on a positive returns. Now, obviously, and that's key, there are possibilities that we cannot perform and we have actually negative returns. We haven't had any examples so far. We've been doing this for the past couple of months. We've been testing this and testing this and testing this, and we've been running this. So far it's been going really well. But for full transparency, there is the possibility of you losing money. There's actually, and for full transparency, I have to say this, there's a possibility of you losing it all. That's, I think, very important to say, even though obviously we're trying everything that this is a scenario that never happens. But you can never kind of completely shut this out. So how does this work as a whole? So you go basically log in, do your KYC, and then you type in the amount. So I have on this dummy account 0.1 Bitcoin. So let me just do a very small amount here. And then let's say the first one is 16th of March. I can see my fees here, and now I can basically set what do I want. Do I want to have no auto compound? So on April 10th, I would get my money back out. Or do I want to have only my original amount, so the 0.01 out? I want to have them in and compound and the returns come out. So basically pure cash flow, or I want everything to compound, right? So let's say, okay, I want everything to compound, and now I click enter. Here I can see the summary. I have to agree, and this is key. Open this, it's the exact same summary that we just went through, that you understand that. That's important. And then you enter. And you kind of accept that. Right now, now it worked. Site has been a bit slow at the moment because a lot of people are accessing this because we just kind of published that. And now you are kind of in, and you can see this here in my entry. Now, of course, you can, before it actually starts, you can always cancel that. That's important, or you can update this. And it's very, very straightforward in all of this. And now this is where it gets really, really cool. Let me click on the Lapis service, and let's hope this loads here. Because what I wanted to actually show you is the overview of how you can actually trace all these past performances, and you can actually track that. And it's a real pity right now that this site doesn't load. Now it did, fantastic. Just really, really heavy loading on this site right now. Great, and I just refreshed it. Okay, we just have to be patient and wait until this thing. Now, okay, so here you can see the ongoing batches, right? So this is basically right now batch 8 in all of this. So we've been testing and testing and testing. And what you can then do is you can see here on details. Let's go, because here you're not going to see anything yet because this thing hasn't started. But so here, this is the last batch, and this started actually March 2nd. And so there has been stuff happening, right? And this is the full transparency. So how do we actually get those 6%? And we get this by doing things. Now, we don't tell you what we actually do until the total patch finished, because obviously this is our secret sauce, if you want to call it. So all we're doing is we're kind of hashing information. I'm going to show you how this actually works. So what you can do for full transparency, you can kind of copy those. If you want to, you can just click here, or you can just copy those, and you can store those. Now, we're storing them as well, but if you say, you know what, trust is good, but you want to verify, and that's the blockchain credo, then you can just store and copy all this yourself. And then as soon as the whole batch is finished, so the entire cycle is through, then you can see this here, then everything got paid out. So we actually show here what was our actual return. So this is just an expected targeted return, and this is what we have been actually generating. And so if you're like, these guys, based on this, they are making 13.1%, so it's actually way higher. How does this actually work? So what you can do is, and this is completely unique, you click here, and then you can see what did these guys do. Okay, so they sold an option here, Bitcoin versus US dollars, this was the price, this was the strike price, this was the premium, so this is what they did. And so now here's the key. All you saw actually when this happened is you saw the hash. But so this hash somehow got created, and it gets created through the transfer data. So this is what we fill in, and that creates this hash. And that's this algorithm of a hash function. That's the same thing that's being used in Bitcoin and so on. So this is a it's open source, and everyone can verify that. And it basically has all this info in there. And so this hash is completely unique, and it represents this info. If we would just change one little bit here, this hash would be completely different. So here it says, okay, there was a trade. This is the date. This is exactly what actually happened. What did we sell or buy? Then you see strike prices, you see fees, and you see all the details here, and this is an identifier at the end. And so then what happens is, if you're like, okay, does this actually match? Does this actually work out? Then these are open source. These hashing tools have nothing to do with us. You can just go to DuckDuckGo, and it automatically takes this information. If you don't trust it, you can fill it in yourself, and then you can hash this yourself, and you are getting the same kind of hash here. And then you can verify, and so you completely transparently see that what we are saying we're doing is actually what is happening. And then you can actually get all the details, and if you're actually filling this out for yourself, then you can see our profits, and you can add those together here, and that actually makes it all adding up to the returns that we are showing here. And so us saying that, well, we made this kind of percentage completely proves this. So trust is great, but verify is way more important. And in our opinion, all the companies out there should do it the same way, because this is full transparency. And at the end, we want to be as transparent as any company can possibly be. We want to offer attractive, competitive returns. And at the end, on the other hand, we want to have super, super easy user experience. Jürgen says, so it's trading, it's not lending. I thought it was based on Bitcoin lending. So basically what you're doing, so you're not trading yourself. All you're doing is you're lending, you're providing liquidity on this. You're just basically lending this, and then you're providing liquidity. You're not using the Bitcoin to actually buy anything, because you're actually selling an option on this. So this is important. Yeah, it's actually lending, not trading. Yeah. If you go to the FAQs, you can read a lot of questions in there as well. So you can go all through those things. I think we kind of covered all of them: auto compounding, dates, expirations, and so on. So you can kind of read on this as well. And then you can also go to our Telegram. I'll link all those up below, and you can see all the details there. You can ask questions. And on Friday, so in 3 days actually, Yuzen and I will do a Q&A. There's a link down below under this video for Q&A for a Slido questionnaire, and then you can go through all of this there, and we can actually answer all your questions. You can upvote, you can downvote, and then we can go through all of that there. Yeah, I hope this introduces this. We start the very first batch on Monday. So if you want to be part of this one, if you want to get cash flow on your Bitcoin, then you want to be part of this before Sunday evening. And then every week we're starting a new batch. Obviously, we need to adjust return rates depending on market conditions and what's possible, depending on the pricing. And that's yeah, very, very important. Maybe for Jürgen, you're not trading yourself. You are lending those Bitcoins kind of away, if you want to call it. The key is you always need to ask yourself, why would you be getting a return on this? So what is this person doing? So there has to be some kind of return. And so all we are showing you is completely transparently that you're actually getting a return. So that's really, really important for us. I hope that kind of explains that. Does a recession have a negative impact on profits? It shouldn't. Obviously, it depends on supply and demand. Now, obviously, if rates are a bit more expensive, then you have to pay more. And if rates are cheaper, then no. Prodea bought yesterday some Bitcoin for cake. Great. Good time right now. Cheap prices. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers a couple of things. I just wanted to give you a brief intro in all of this. I'll link up a blog post below. If you have questions, then please post this in the Slido Q&A, and then we can go into great depth on Friday, and we can walk everything through so all your questions are gonna be solved. And that's yeah, very, very key. So yeah, I hope that helps and works everything. From my side, I really want to say a huge thank you to everyone in the team. There's literally everyone right now from left and right kind of jumping in: legal, compliance, product, tech. The entire team is working super, super, super hard. So a big thank you from my side. And yeah, thank you for you as one of our loyal users and supporters. I really appreciate that. So yeah, try it out, see it for yourself. And we're going to be communicative as always, transparent, and yeah, looking forward to serving you as a customer. Thank you so much. Talk to you, and see you hopefully on Friday for the Q&A. Thank you, everyone.